Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to A Piece of My Opinion, a reaction channel, classroom setting, a piece of my opinion. Alrighty, we're going to give commentary over here, my opinions, my judgments, my conversation, my thoughts, all the things wrapped up in one big box, bowl, however you want to put it. Please watch, comment, like, and subscribe. Do all the free things for me. Get the engagement going. Um, Help the channel to grow. All the things. Alrighty, our agenda is going to be big family living. The mother's name is Shayla. Mom of 10. Yeah, mama 10. Now I started off with her. This is a long one, guys. I'm just gonna be honest up front. You might not be able to watch it all the way to the end. But remember, I said that she was telling her story of how she got her 10 kids, 5 baby daddies. And who else to tell her story but herself. So I decided to do all the parts because I wanted to kind of build the background because I am going to incorporate her. I don't think she's really problematic as some of the other women in this sector, but she has a story to tell. I'm not going to stop it a lot in here because I do want to go ahead and get through with this one. And like I stated, it's long. So you may have to come back and please do so. Um, because it's interesting. At first, I was like, I want to break it up and do it in different parts because it's taken me almost a week to even get back to it because I do have a life outside of this. But I said, let me go ahead and try to get it done so I can get it out so we can move on to a new video about her. But again, yes, it's long because it's her life, it's her story, but it's interesting to me. Okay, some of the things she's going to say are very, very interesting. So again, I'm not going to stop it a lot because it is long, and when we stop it, it makes the video even longer. So yeah, like I say, if you need to, stop and come back, please do so. Because again, I think it's interesting to wrap it all up as far as she's talking about her, but she's been talking about her fourth baby daddy, I do believe, and because she's with him the longest. Okay, remember she's with this guy the longest, so she has more to say about him. But then she's going to introduce the last baby daddy. All righty, so let's get into it.
Okay, so after that whole situation happens, basically, eventually, I move out. I'm back in my mom's house. We couldn't keep track of the rent anyway, um, because the rent was too much money, and he ended up getting fired from the pool company. I was still doing my little side hustle, or whatever online, where I was making money online, but I wasn't making enough to cover the rent. So we got kicked out. I went back to my mom's house. We moved back in. We trying to get another apartment at this point because we had got kicked out our last place. I went to my mom for like, I want to say a year or like 6 months or something like that. A few months later, we trying to move back in together because we don't like being apart from each other. So we found another apartment. This was a slumlord. This was a 3-bedroom apartment though. So I was happy that we was able to get a bigger house. It was in a hood, and I didn't know it was in a hood because when I first listen, I'm from the suburbs, raised in the suburbs most of my life. We moved to the suburbs when I was like 8, so that's really all I know. I would not have, well, not maybe I would have, but I didn't know this was a ghetto neighborhood. I really thought this was a nice neighborhood because when I went to tour the apartment, oh my god, I feel like I'm dizzy. Hold on. I honestly don't know if I'm feeling dizzy because if I need to eat something, my sugar is low, or it's feel like anxiety. I don't know. Like this is honestly the first time I've ever sat down and told the story from beginning to end. Obviously, I'm skipping a lot of parts because I can't go through everything that happened, but just kind of like telling like the highlights that stuck out to me. So I don't know. It's like it's bringing up a lot of different feelings, especially now that I'm getting to like the traumatic parts. Um, yeah. But yes, we found an apartment. We moved in. We moved in the wintertime. In the wintertime, it's like nobody outside in the wintertime. So we're like I said, we not realizing this is kind of like whatever. That part really don't matter. I don't know why I'm. So we moved into this new apartment, and we become like good friends with the neighbors upstairs because it was like a lady, her husband, and their kids. Um, so we moved in there. Like all the neighborhood kids, like what I did like about this apartment is like everybody was friendly with each other. Like I would have, I kind of think this is kind of like where I'm like I love kids, man. Like I love, like I remember buying like a whole bunch of snacks for all the neighborhood kids. I used to have all the neighborhood kids in my house. At the time I am like 25, I think at the time 24, 25, and my daughter is still pretty young. She's only like 1 year old now. So this is a year. This is 1 year later, maybe a little less than a year when we're at another apartment. This is a 3-bedroom house that we're in, or we in like a 3 or 4 family house. So I remember our neighbor upstairs was like she used to hear me getting beat all the time. And the only thing I told her was if you hear something, if you hear me getting beat, most likely he done took my phone. Um, so if you hear me getting beat up, please call the cops. And she did used to call the cops for me because a lot of times I could not call the cops myself. Like I remember this one time this is what I went into the story a little bit briefly on Instagram. But like towards like the end of us living here, this place we also only lived in for about a year. But like towards the end of us living here, like we were like not having a good, like he was so abusive to me around this time. And I remember one time he's like, at one point we're not even in the same bedroom no more. He's like took over one of the kids' bedrooms. Like me and the kids are all in one bedroom, and then he took over one of the kids' bedrooms. So we sleeping in different bedrooms. And he told me not to touch his stuff. One time he got mad at me, man. I know I'm skipping around. I'm just that remembering a lot of the stuff I have not thought about since it happened. Like, I think a lot of times that's where anxiety comes from is you kind of don't really think about these things and you push them deep down inside. Like, oh God, like this. Um. Okay, so I really gotta keep on stopping because I'm trying to calm myself down. When my anxiety get like now that I'm sober, when my anxiety get real bad, my sister called me. I'm not about to answer. When my anxiety get real bad, I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Matter of fact, let me talk to my sister for a minute. Oh yeah, I gotta tell when, cause I'm like, it was a time where I had such a bad black eye. This is when we lived to the other part with the first apartment. I just gotta tell the story because I was like getting the timeline mixed up because it's all kind of like crammed into one. But I'm like, when was that? When was that when I had that real bad black eye? Like I could not for the life of me like remember why I had such a black eye. Like it wasn't a regular black eye. I don't know. Like my face looked so bad. Hold on. Yeah. So I was looking through my pictures. Like this is. I don't know. This is me and my daughter. Like September 7th, 2013. This is that was me when I was trying to cover up a black eye. One time he hit me so hard. He hit me so hard. I'm gonna try to cover his face up. But he hit me so hard he broke his hand on my face. Like he hit me so hard he broke his hand hitting my face.
This here is so sad to me. And like I said before, I've never been in this situation. So I'm not, I say this is a judgment zone and the whole shebang, but not when it comes to any kind of abuse and assaults and that. No, 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 no. I can think what I want to think in my head, but I wouldn't dare say it. Um, it's just sad. And it's gonna get a little bit worse, guys. Yeah.
Like, isn't that crazy? He had to go to the hospital. And what's crazy, I felt bad. I felt bad for him that I felt bad. Like, this is my thought process at the time. Like, mind you, I felt bad that he hit me so hard that he broke his hand. And his hand was broke. Like, he fractured his thumb and everything. I don't think his family ever knew that's how he broke his hand. He told his family that, we told people that he broke his hand slamming in the car door. He broke his hand on my face. Because at the time, I really used to think, like, I used to be doing dumb stuff. And I'm like, if I would have never did this dumb stuff or went out or whatever, he wouldn't have had to do that. There's another picture of his hand in the cast from breaking his hand on my face. But you know how hard you gotta hit somebody to break your hand hitting them? But that was crazy. And then it was another time where hold on, let me find it. It was another time. Oh wait, hold on. All right, so this is when we still live in the first apartment. I just forgot to tell this, but like this is like a highlight is when, or you know what, was I living? You know what? No, we wasn't. This is after we got kicked out, but we was we were still together, and I don't remember why he did this, but no, stop. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know I'm just getting confusing. So I just wanted to make sure I had like everything straight. But like I don't know, it don't have to be exactly. I'm just I'm trying to make things too like exactly like details. And honestly, the details really don't matter. But this is when he this I don't remember this because I lost consciousness when this happened. But this is when he see my hands are shaking. He kicked me in the face with a steel toe with his boots on, and I did not. Yeah, that's why my eyelid's so big. I believe that's when he kicked me in the face. Mind you, this is like when that happened. I don't remember that happening. This is stuff like I guess he felt bad afterwards, and he used to tell me these things and tell me what happened afterwards when he was apologizing or when he was crying or when he felt so bad that he had to like own up to what he did. I don't really know, but like I said, like that I don't really remember that. He just told me afterwards that's what happened. So okay, fast forward back to now we back to I just wanted to tell those few things. I wasn't sure when those happened, but like now we in a new apartment and we've been there a few months. It's been like hell because just like a few of the things that was going on. So this story, this little part, I don't remember this. Shit. I don't remember this. This is something that my oldest son does.
Now get ready to hear this part. But before we get into this, yes, he was still abusing her, and she moved into another apartment with him. Now, as I said before, she takes some accountability because this happened a while back. So she's out of it and she can kind of see now, you know, things she did that, well, she can see where she made some bad decisions, right? Um, so I do like that she takes accountability. Now, not saying she has accountability for him being abusive by any means, but just, just actually, yeah, she does take some accountability, and that's something I do like about her.
Now, his birthday tomorrow, he turns 19. He about to be 19. He told me this story. He said one time, and this what made me cry. Like this made me feel so bad because I don't remember this happening, and the fact that he remembers it was like it's just like crazy. But apparently, Jonathan tied a belt around my neck, like took a belt and tied it around my neck and had it like you know when you wrap a belt and then wrap it in, and was dragging me, choking me with the belt, like put the belt around my neck and was like dog walking me, whipping me back and forth with the belt around my neck and beating me up like that. I felt so bad that my kids witnessed that because I don't remember that. I don't have no memory of that happening. Like my mind made up memories of like if I think about it now, I can remember it, but I don't think that's a real memory. I think my mind is just kind of like made up the memory of that happening. Before he told me that, I did not remember that. I only remember that after he told me, but I think that my mind is just trying to fill in the gaps. One time he got angry at me because I painted our daughter's nails. I painted her toenails pink. It was like kid nail polish. It wasn't adult nail polish. She was about 1 when this happened, and I painted her toes pink. He got so furious at me. He put his hands on me for that, mushing me around. I don't think he beat me up real bad, but he did put his hands on me, and he had me in the corner scared because he said I was teaching her to be a hoe like me. It was very irrational. Yeah, that was real messed up. There was another time where it's like towards the end of us living here, and we're not on good terms at all. And he like he didn't like when I touch his clothes, especially towards the end. His rule was do not touch my stuff. My stuff is my stuff. You're not gonna touch it. And but we was about to have company at the time, and I told him, I'm like, he had a pile of clothes. He used to leave his clothes everywhere. Had a pile of laundry that he was gonna do, but it's been sitting there all day, like since the day before. And I'm like, when we about to have company, can you pick your clothes up? 'Cause we about to have company. And he was like, nah, I'm not doing it right now, and you better not touch my stuff. And I'm just like, I mean, I think I told him like, you know, you're not gonna clean it up. I think I have to clean it up because so and so coming over or whatever. I don't know if it was my mom or I don't remember. Maybe repair people. I don't think it was my mom. I wouldn't care if it was just my mom. Maintenance, the landlord, somebody was coming over that wasn't a friend. And he's like, got in my face, and he's like looking at me in my eye. He's like, what you want? Like sizing me up and down. And I'm looking at him. He looking at me. And I don't know. Maybe it was the way I looked at him that pissed him off because I was not backing down because I was tired of him at this point. At this point, I didn't even want to be with him no more. I'm just like, I looked at him the wrong way. But he hit me so hard in my face. I don't know if he backhanded me or if he hit me so hard in my mouth that you see this tooth, that gray tooth right there. This gray tooth is not the same color as the rest of my teeth. This tooth went like that tooth was not in the same place. It was all the way back. Like he pushed the tooth back. When that happens, he cut the blood supply off my tooth. This is a dead tooth. A dead tooth is when you no longer have blood supply in that tooth, and it's been great ever since. The tooth was knocked back. I ran to the bathroom to click my tooth back into place, and yeah, that's why my tooth is gray right there. I got real like I'm really insecure about my teeth and like Down here is crooked from my ex, and then this one is now a dead tooth from my ex. The dentist said they could fix this tooth for me. It doesn't really bother me to the point of trying to get it fixed. Maybe I'll get it fixed one day. This bothers me, but the gray tooth, I mean, I don't know, it kind of bothers me, but it don't bother me enough, so I don't really care about it. But like I said, maybe I'll get it fixed in the future. Just right now, it's not a priority for me right now. But yeah. So towards the end, a few times I did call the cops on him a few times in that apartment. My neighbor called the cops a few times, but like towards the end of me living there, of us living there, like I forget what happened. Like something happened to where I'm like, I can't take it no more. I'm like, something gotta give. I'm like, I cannot take this no more. I'm like, this is crazy. Like dealing with this with him, and he would not let me leave. Like he would not let me leave the house, and I had to make a decision. I'm like, I'm gonna leave. I'm like, I gotta get away from him. I'm gonna leave, and I couldn't leave out the front door, and I didn't want to take my kids. I didn't want to leave my kids in the house. I mean, jump out the window with my kid. So I'm like, obviously, I'm not allowed to go nowhere. Like he got me in the house, he won't let me leave or nothing like that. And I want to call the cops, and he got my phone, and I can't call the cops neither, because he took my phone. I have no way to get in contact. So what I did is I'm in a room, and I guess I'm not allowed to go nowhere, but. So as soon as he like going to the bathroom or wherever he went, I jump out the window. I ain't got no shoes on, nothing like that. I jumped out the window and I ran to the gas station across the street from our apartment. I ran to the gas station. I called the cops. I told him I got kids in the house. He been like whooping my ass and doing this and doing that to me. I told him what happened, and I told him I want safety. He so they come to the house, and at the time they asked me if I want to put a restraining order on him. And at the time, I don't know why I said no. But I didn't want to go through the process. I don't remember why. It was a reason why. It wasn't just that I just didn't want to do it, just because I cannot remember the reason why. I couldn't tell you. But I told him I wanted him out the house, and they told me the cops were like not very helpful, even though I told them what happened. Okay, my kids keep on. I swear to God, this actually is gonna be the last tape. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make another video saying it at the beginning. This is gonna be my last tape. I'm not this is my last baby daddy video. All right, so oh my God, my family keep on. I don't have a bedroom, so I'm just always in the living room or in my kids' room. I'm actually, yeah, I like go between being in here and in my kids' room. But so I'm trying to finish the story up. So where we at? So the way it worked is because I didn't want to put a restraining order on him. They told me they could not make him leave. I'm like, y'all can't make him leave? They said no, because I want him to move out. And they said we can't make him leave, and we all like the only thing we could do is and they couldn't yeah, he wouldn't give me my daughter. I'm like, I can't take my daughter with me or whatever. And he told me no, so I had to leave my daughter there, and I had to leave. I left, went back to my mom's house for I don't know, a few days, I guess. He ended up taking all the money out my bank account. We had a joint account, but the money that was in there was my money. It was like $1,000, which at the time, shit, that was a lot of money to me. And he cleaned out my bank account, and he took that. Honestly, I wasn't doing nothing productive with the money anyway. He still didn't have a right to take it, but I was drinking with that money anyway, and I was like drunk all that weekend, so it's not like I was going to do anything productive. Like, yeah, I was taking care of my kids too, but I also was drinking a lot at the time. So anyway, I'm sorry, people will not stop walking in this room. So that's why I gotta keep on cutting the video. But all right, so we.
And yes, again, I respect the fact that she don't want to sit up and have this full-fledged conversation and video in front of her kids. Unlike some other mothers will say all the negativity in front of their kids. And kids, they're like sponges. They soak up that energy, those words, all of that. And just being an idiotic mother is so tiring and overrated.
Leave this apartment. We at this point, I think we also it was like the same situation where we couldn't keep up with the rent. So again, I'm back in my mom's house again. And so this time when I go back to my mom's house, me and him are broken up. I broke things off with him. I'm like, I ain't doing this no more. I'm not going back to him. He's never going to change this, that. So I leave, go to my mom's house. We got kicked out. I went to my mom's house. I don't know where he went, but he gone somewhere. So afterwards, we also dealing with a lot of like other stuff. But I can't remember. Oh yeah, so And I'll go back to live with my mom. He go back to live with his dad. We did start hanging out again, but we were not back together. We had broke up, but we was hanging out again. But like,
Now think about this. They have all these, but she, of course, have more kids than him because she have all the kids. But I don't know. I can't. I'll be honest. I can't remember at this point if she have 3 or 4 by him. I can't remember, but both of them got to go back to their parents' homes because financially they're making these babies, but they cannot take care of these babies.
I said, we not together. I guess we made up. I don't know. So, but we just friends. We just friends, co-parenting, because we still got kids together, or we still have a daughter together. Because it's all within this like year. He, like, I left my debit card or something like that at his place, at his dad's house, and my cat. Oh my god, I'm so hungry. I'm about to order food, man. But I think I'm gonna order Taco Bell. I don't know. I hate that I keep having to take money out of my savings account. Like I had saved it was like $10,000, and I just keep on dipping into my savings account. Um, and I don't know, but think about me when I save up money, and I have to dip in my account. I always pay myself back. Like if I know I want $10,000 in that account, and I spend $200, I'm gonna pay myself back. And that's how I work with my savings account and saving money and stuff like that. So right now, I have like 9,000 or something like that in my savings account. So whatever I took out of my savings account, which over the past few days or over the past week to buy like groceries and food and stuff like that, I think I took out three or 400. I'm gonna pay myself back as soon as I get paid, and I get paid sometime. I get paid twice this month from a sponsorship and for my Facebook monetization. Even though it wasn't a lot this month because I was suspended for like 3 weeks in December, so it's only like $1,500 or something like that. But the month before that, it was like 5,000. But I'm so hungry. Okay. I'm trying to think. Okay, so I had left my debit card at his house, at his father's house. And his father, like whenever I come over, his father be at work. So the very next day after, I left my debit card over there. I call him, I'm like, yo, mind you, we are not back together. This might be weeks later. We're not together. That's very important. We are not together. I'm pretty sure he's dating other people. I don't know. I'm not dating. I'm just whatever. But we're not back together. He, I'm need a ride to, I need a ride to go get my debit card. So I asked my neighbor. My neighbor's a male. I asked my neighbor to take me. That was probably the biggest mistake, knowing how he is. But I told him my neighbor, I'm like, I'm in my neighbor car. We coming to get my debit card, blah, blah, whatever. This was not a boyfriend. This was not somebody I was dating. This was my neighbor. And I've known this boy, because we're still in our early 20s. We're kids. And I've known him since middle school. We went to school together. And I've known him since middle school, whatever. So me and my neighbor go to his dad's house to get my debit card. And as soon as we pull up, my baby father, Jonathan, sees me and he yanks me out the car so fast. Like, get the fuck out the car. He yanks me up out the car. And then my neighbor pulls off.
Buckle up and listen to this. This is wild, boy. This gets really, really wild. And just to think that there are men out here like this, because we know we hear it all the time about abuse stories, and I don't know, it makes me wonder what happened to you. Like, because I believe that everything happens for a reason. I do believe that. It could be the reason, it could be just simple you made bad decisions. You made a bad decision. Or it could be that what you're doing is something that you thought was the way it's supposed to be, something you learned through trauma. Or it could be something good. You do the things you do because of what you were exposed to that was good and positive, right? So I do believe that things happen for a reason. Um, because I connect that all to the universe and the energy. But anyway, let's go. I said I want to hold up because this is long as it is. So get ready to hear this scenario here.
When I say my neighbor, we didn't live right next to each other. When I say I call anybody that live in the same town as me, I just call my neighbor. We lived in the same town. So baby, that was the last time I've ever seen him in my life. I've never seen him or talked to him after that day, which is crazy because I'm like, somebody could do that. Like, I wasn't expecting him to have my back. He didn't have to have my back. He didn't have to do anything because yes, I kept putting myself in those situations. Like, I should have just canceled my card and got a new one, but I don't know if I had to. I wanted to buy something that very day, so I didn't want to wait. So that's why I had tried to go back and get my debit card. Um, but like, he could at least call the police or something like that. But you know what? Whatever. Let it be on me. Let it be on me. So he grabs me out the car, and then my neighbor speeds off with the quickness. I don't know if he's scared or whatever. I don't blame him for being scared. So he speeds off with the quick. He didn't even close his door. He just the door was still open. He just drove off real.
It's not a funny situation. It's not a funny situation at all. But I'm just envisioning because I'm a visual person, visual learner, all the things. And I'm just envisioning somebody driving off with the door open because this maniac is pulling her out the car. And he probably already knew because she said she knew the guy. He already knew how crazy this dude is. So he was looking out for himself in that moment. And it is sad because as she progresses, he didn't even call the police. So the only funny part to this is me envisioning him driving off and the door is not even shut, but it stops there because he didn't drive off and call the cops.
Fast. Uh, like crazy. So he yanking me up the I'm trying not to go with him. I don't want to go in his house because I already know if we go in his house, if he take me in the house, I already know he's whooping my ass. So he's dragging me up the hill. He his dad lived like apartment complexes, and like it's like a hill to go up to the apartment complex. It's these ladies across the street. These ladies are yelling, "Leave that girl alone! Leave that girl alone! Get your hands off of her!" And they're trying to like get his attention. Like, yeah, we see you. Get your hands off of her. These ladies is trying to help, but he's too fast. He drags me up the stairs. He takes me. I'm fighting the whole time, trying not to go in there because I don't want to be alone with him. So, but I guess he was just mad that I was in this other man's car and he didn't know this man. Um, although I'm pretty sure he met him before, but whatever. He didn't know him, so he dragging me up the stairs. He taking me in the hallway. He dragging me up the stairs in the hallway, pushing me around, knocking me around. We get in the house. He pushes me down in the house and just starts beating.
Okay, just real quick. So she say that he didn't know him. Maybe he had heard about him. But even with that, this man is dragging her out the car and you driving off and you don't call the police. Wow.
Me up. I'm pretty sure I lost consciousness a few times because I don't remember exactly. I just know when I went in there, it was like daylight, and when I'm like laying on the floor, and I remember looking out the window, and it's nighttime now, and he been beating me up for hours. Like this nigga, he's taking breaks from beating me, and just walking around like you think you could like do this to me and blah 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 blah, and you just like a little slut bitch, and like, my God, like, it was crazy. So one point we in the kitchen, he got a knife in his hand, and he's like, "Bitch, what I tell you? Like, I told you I'll slice you up. I'll slice you up." He presses the knife against my, that's what this scar. You see this scar right here? Can you see it?
I mean, she have all kinds of scars, not just the mental, emotional, but she have just physical scars from this man. And of course, she have babies by this man.
That's where that scar come from. He pressed the knife against my face, and then pressed it so hard that he's cutting into my face, and he sliced my face. He sliced my nose, and I'm just like trying to figure out. I'm like, I think he's gonna kill me. I think he's gonna kill me, man. He's gonna kill me. I gotta get away. He's gonna kill me. We making so much ruckus. I told you the police station is right there. Somebody did call the cops. Somebody called the cops, and the cops is, it's a big building. It's a big building. It's a nice neighborhood too, but it's a big building. So the cops are there, but the cops are knocking on all the doors trying to figure out where the they don't know which apartment it is. So they are trying to find me because they hear it. Um, they hear me screaming, and I've been screaming for a while. I don't know how much time. I have no clue. It could have been 5 hours past. I don't think it was that long. I think it was maybe 2 hours, but it was getting dark, and then like I said, when I went in, it was night. It was light, and then at one point right before we left, it was dark, and he just beat me for a while. So after, like, my face is all bloody, I'm all messed up, man. Um, and I'm on the floor just crying, and it's hard for me I can barely move, and he is just in a rage, like, and he used to choke me until I couldn't breathe, and then I would start passing out, and then he would let me go, and he'll do it again, put me in a headlock, start choking me until I couldn't breathe, and then let me go. And he would just do that, and like that was, I think, the scariest part. And it was crazy thing. I always wanted to learn how to like defend myself and like fight. Like, my whole dad's side of the family know how to fight, but me. I cannot fight to save my life. Like, I mean, I think if I got into a fist fight with somebody of the same sex, maybe not right now, but maybe back in the day, I could probably like do something. But like, I mean, like karate, like martial arts fight. Um, yeah, my whole family know how to do martial arts. My dad's side of the family, like a lot of them is like, because my uncle owned a karate gym, and most of my father's side of the family was in karate. And my dad wanted to put me in karate when I was young, and I don't know, he just never did. He said I didn't show interest in it, and maybe I didn't at the time, but like that would have came in handy. But the one thing he did tell me how to do is he told me how to get out of a chokehold if somebody is choking me. So I always knew how to, as long as he didn't put me in a headlock. Because if he put me in a headlock, I really could not breathe. Um, but uh, when he was like choking me like this, like, which it would be like this, he would be choking me like this. I always knew how to get out of that, and he hated that when I used to unlock his grip, because when somebody is choking you like that, you supposed to bend their thumbs back like this, and then they have to. So I used to always, that was the one thing I did know how to do to save my life, is to break them thumbs back, baby. I used to break them thumbs back, man. But so but in this case, I don't know if I was doing that. Like I said, I don't remember exactly everything, because um I don't know. Uh, so eventually the cops find the apartment, and they knocking at the door. Please open up. And he tell me not to say shit. He's like, don't you fucking say it. Like, don't you better not say nothing. So I'm like, I ain't gonna say nothing. So I'm still trying to play smart. I'm trying to wait for the opportunity to escape. So he takes me and he makes me leave out the fire escape. He's like, we gotta go. So I leave out the fire escape with him. We going down the fire escape, and then we run to a parking lot, and we inside the parking lot. Just he walking back and forth like he don't know what to do. Like we gotta figure out blah blah, and I'm just sitting there like I'm sitting on the floor. I'm sitting on the ground like I don't know what to do. I just remember sitting on the ground in this parking lot, and he is he doesn't seem very angry no more. Like the fit of rage kind of went away, and now he just trying to figure out how we gonna go this way or that way or whatever. He's like, all right, we gotta move from here because the police gonna come down here or whatever. So we gotta move from here. So he takes me, and he's like got me on by the back or whatever, and we're in my mind, I'm like, as soon as I get to some people, I'm making a scene. I'm getting out of this situation because at this point, I'm like, F this. I want to just, oh my God, at this point, I just want to go home to my kids. I just want to, like, I just want to go home to my kids, man. That's all I want to do is go home to my kids. So, hold on, I'm checking out my kids now on the camera. Okay, are they breaking something? Oh, hold on. All right, so he got me crossing the street now, and it's like a line of cars. Of like, mind you, the police station is still right there because we didn't really leave far from his house. We just was hiding under something. So we're crossing the street, and it's dark outside, and literally the first car I seen, I held on to the person had their window down, and I held on to their window and I wouldn't let go. This is a stranger, and I'm just like, help me. He is not letting me go. This man had kidnapped me. My boyfriend had kidnapped me, and I'm crying. I'm asking for help, and he's trying to I will not let go of this person's car. I'm holding on to their window, inside their window. I couldn't even tell you if this was a man or a woman. Like I was in complete like fight or flight mode. So I'm holding on to this person's window. I'm pleading for help and I'm crying. And the car in back of that car that I'm holding on to, now he's trying to yank me from the car. He's trying to yank me. I'm like, no, like, I'm not going nowhere. Buddy, you gotta go. I'm like, I know he ain't about to like kill me in front of all these people or do nothing like in front of all these people. The car in back of them gets out the car, and he's like, hey, what's going on here? Leave her alone and stuff like that. And he's like, oh, no. Like, I'm not even doing that. She just drunk. She don't know what she's saying. She's drunk. She don't know what she's saying. I was not drunk. I had been drinking like earlier that day, but I was completely sober when this happened. So he realizes that I'm causing such a commotion in the middle of the street that there's people getting out their cars. They see me. My face is bloody. I'm fucked up. So he runs. He just runs off into the distance. And I stay with the person I was holding on to their car. I asked them to call 911. They call 911, police station right there. They come to get me. And I go to the hospital. I get checked out. I file a police report. And at that point, I'm like, I need a restraining order on him. This was the last time that he would ever do something like this to me again. That's what I said. They put out a warrant for his arrest. I put a restraining order on him. It was a temporary restraining order, but it was a restraining order. He gets arrested a few days later because they had to serve the warrant to him, and they couldn't find him for a few days. They did find him 5 days later. They served him the warrant. He went to jail. He was in jail for, I want to say, 6 months. He was in jail. He did write me a letter from jail apologizing and everything like that. Later on, he did
This was so jail finally.
He did tell me he was not even apologizing. He said, "I just wanted you to drop the charges. That's the only reason." And but it wasn't me. I wasn't really pressing charges. It was the state that was pressing charges. But I was cooperating with them. I cooperated with them. I got something called victims compensation. Victims compensation is like they pay for you to be hidden. So the state paid for me to they paid for the department to hide me from him. So I did that. What else? They hide me. I'm living in a new place. I was gonna put the letter that he wrote, 'cause I still have it somewhere. I still have it. I was reading it the other day. I'm like, oh dang, I forgot all about this. Matter of fact, hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna put the letter right here. This is the letter that he sent me. Y'all can pause it to read it. But
Nope, we're not going to do
so
that. We
yeah,
believe you,
that's the letter he
sis.
wrote me from jail. I guess just apologizing for, what he's done. And like I said, he later told me that he didn't even really mean nothing he said. He did not really care to he just wanted to get out of jail, didn't want me, whatever. So after that, that's when I cut him completely out of my life. And this was in 2000. He was convicted. This was in 2000, I believe 2015. He was convicted of felony. He had the felony on his record from what happened. He actually used to.
So, like I stated before, guys, this was a while ago. Oh, what, 10 years ago? 11 years ago? So that's why I feel like she's able to take some accountability for some things because, again, she's telling her story. And it did happen a while ago, because we know some people around these parts telling stories from 6, 7 years ago and still won't take accountability. It's still everybody else's fault.
Blame me, like, because he had it after he got out of jail. He couldn't get no job no more because he has a felony on his record. And he kind of used to like kind of put the blame on me, like, yeah, like I can't even get no job now. I can't work and stuff like that. How I used to be able to find a job anywhere, I can't do that because now I got a felony. And I used to feel bad. Now it's like, man, you did this to yourself. Just like I gotta deal with the consequences of things I've done, and I had to deal with the consequences afterwards because I wasn't living right and I wasn't doing right. You know what I mean? Like when I've had to deal with consequences too over things that I've done, and I just had to, you know, because I wasn't living right. So yeah, I'm trying to order food. My stomach keep growling. I know y'all can hear that on the camera. So I'm trying to order food. I eat today. It's 2 o'clock, and I have not eaten all day. So I don't know what to order. Everything expensive. Every time I order food, I spend $100 and something dollars every single time I want to order, and that's why like alone I spent probably like $1,000 this month on food, on like takeout, and that's why I went, because I don't get food stamps right now because I don't know, I didn't recertify where I was supposed to, so I'm not getting food stamps no more. That's putting the dent in my pockets. But all right, so at one point, so we not talking for a while. I don't deal with him or nothing like that, except for one time I did. I don't know if I was, so we moved again, but this time it's just me and my sister. It's me and my sister raising my kids, which is her. Me and her doing a parenting thing together. She's helping me raise my kids. We got a house, and we're still living in Strawberry Hills. We got a 4-bedroom house now. Um, it was nice. Like I really liked that house. That house was cool, man. It was an older house, but it was a house, and we're renting this house. We rented that house for like 1 year, but the rent was just too expensive. So, but yeah, we rented that house for like one. Now it's 2000. Oh wait, I skipped a part where I got pregnant with our second child. I got pregnant with our second child. In between, somewhere in between that, I did have a second baby. I don't remember when. Cause I'm like, wait a minute. I had Adri, then I got pregnant and had another baby. Right? Yeah. So at the point, I don't know, cause I had them close together. So at one point, I did have a second baby. So we have two kids together now. And then by the time the fight happened, the kidnapping thing, even though he wasn't charged with kidnapping, I guess they wanted a charge that could stick. So they charged him with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and bodily injury. And he had to pay a fine. He got a felony and then he did like time served. He was on probation for like 3 years or something like that. But within that time, I did have a baby. So we had our second child around that time. So then now, fast forward, it is 2015 now. And for the most part, he is out of my life. But there is like a point where we randomly got back in touch. I think I was like out with my friends or something like that. I don't really remember, but I did randomly call him. And yes, it was a bad idea. I don't regret it because if I regret it and I wish I would not never call him, my son wouldn't be here. So I got pregnant with my son in 2015. Yeah, I got pregnant with my son in 2015. So this I get pregnant with Aiden. I get pregnant with my third child by him. So now I have a total of, I'm pregnant with my third child by him, but my seventh child. And
I'm mercy.
we don't stay in touch though. We do not stay in touch. And he does not know I'm pregnant. Even though I got pregnant, I did not want him to know I was pregnant because I really I realized that me getting back in touch with him was a mistake and I did not want him in our lives. So although I got pregnant, I think I told him I was pregnant, but I told him I had a termination. I told him I had a termination and whatever. He did want to be in his kid's life, but I just wanted to stay away from him. So I was just trying to avoid him. I felt shamed for being pregnant with him again. Like I hid the pregnancy for as long as I could from everybody I knew, my parents. Everybody. I tried to hide the pregnancy from.
And I'm still baffled at this point why contraception is not a part of their lives. No, nothing is being used. And you already knowing that you're fertile and you're young. Because she's still in her early 20s at this time.
Uh, People did find out I was pregnant by the time I was like 8. I was like 8 months. I hid that pregnancy well because I was very embarrassed that I went back to him, especially after like everything that happened with the police and I had my restraining order. The restraining order did get dropped because I never went back. No. I tried to keep the restraining order on. That was the first restraining order. This restraining order, the judge didn't grant me the restraining order because no, that was before that too. The judge didn't grant me the restraining order because I was intimidated and I was crying in court. And I got so choked up that it was hard for me to tell my story. He made me tell it over twice. And then I couldn't even look at him. And then the judge was like, well, you don't look like you want to really get, you look like you don't really want this restraining order because you look like you just abandoned your case. So denied. And then that's when he kidnapped me right after he denied my restraining order. But so oh man, dang, I don't know why I be beating myself up over this damn story. I'm just like I'm such a bad storyteller. I really be too hard on myself. I would just have to snip this up. But then when I be editing it, I'm like, it's not as bad as I thought it was. And that's honestly me just trying to be perfect in the story and trying to make sure I tell things the way it happened in order. And I mean, that don't even matter. I really gotta stop. Like, I wish I wasn't, like, you know what I mean? It don't even have to be in, like, this, like, exactly, as long as I get the story told. So, Oh, damn. Well, where am I at? Okay, finally, we're at a point where I do eventually tell him I am pregnant. No. Wrong. I have the baby. He don't know about the baby for a long time. And a long time, I mean like 3 months or something like that. My baby's a few months old. Aiden is my baby. Aiden, his birthday next month. He's about to be 10. So this is 10 years ago. He doesn't know my baby for a few months. I do eventually tell him that I had a baby, and he's like, "You had a baby?" I'm like, "Yes, the child that I was pregnant with before. I know I told you I got a termination, but I never got the termination, and this is your baby." At this point, he has a new girlfriend, and he's telling her this is not my baby. He comes over to see us on Halloween, and he's trying to take us trick or treat, and he does pick Aiden up. He's looking at him. Okay, and he puts him down. So, and he didn't want to hold him again after that. He just, because Aiden was like my first baby that looked like me. Aiden looks like me, and this is the first baby that did not take after him and his genes. So he just thinking this baby do not look like me. So he put him down. He don't really want to hold him like that. He don't say that to me. He told me that later on down the line. He had told me that. But so we do take the kids trick-or-treating, and nothing terrible happened or nothing like that, but we do lose communications. I guess he got a new girlfriend at this point. And so no, wait, I don't know. I don't think he had a new girlfriend at this point, but we just stopped communicating with each other. I stopped communicating with him. I did let him know he has a baby out there. I let his parents know too. No, I'm lying. So his parents didn't know about Aiden until Aiden was like 1 year old, because they knew I had a baby, but they didn't know it was his baby because he kept saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna tell them," but he kept saying he didn't want to tell them. And then at a point, then after he got into a relationship, this a year later, our third baby. No, our third baby. Aiden's our third kid, and he didn't want to believe Aiden was his. He kept saying, "Oh, that's not my baby," or whatever, because it's a year. This is 1 year later, and I'm like, "You gotta tell your parents something." He was like, "But that's not my child." He just kept on denying him because, like I said, me and him were not in contact like that. It was just like a one-time thing. So because we weren't in contact, and I only had slept with him one time, he thought Aiden was not his. Even though I told him I was not sleeping around. He was the only person I was with that year. Like, not even that year, but that, like, within that decade, I was like only with him. So, at that time, actually, I did eventually, whatever, later down the line. But at that time, I'm like, I'm only with you. I'm like, I'm not dating. I don't have no relationships or nothing. And I told him it's impossible for Aiden to be somebody else's child. I'm like, it's impossible. He didn't believe me. I guess because of the situation where he, like, anytime he seen me with another man, even though I had, like, very platonic male friends, he just thought I must be sleeping with him, whatever. And I'm sure this all boils down to because I have 4 kids and I met him. So he in his new relationship now, and Aiden is like 1 or 2 years old at the time, because like some time had passed, and he's just like, I'm like, take a DNA test. He don't want to take a DNA test. I'm like, we could do it right from the comfort of our homes. I found this place called Quest Diagnostics, and if you want to take a DNA test at home, you can. It only costs like $100 at a time, and so I had to pay for the DNA test myself. And I had to pay. He didn't want to take the DNA test. He did not care. He's like, I'm not taking no DNA test. That's not my child. I told him I would give you $100 to take a DNA test, because I was trying to prove that this was his baby.
What did he just say?
What the hell?
To his family, because his family thought, okay, maybe it's our grandchild, maybe it's not. So we do the DNA test. I have to pay him $100 to take the DNA test. So, like, mind you, this man not on child support. He don't financially take care of our kids or nothing like that. So I pay him $100. I told him, if you come over to take the DNA test, I will pay you $100. So he comes over, I give him money, I swab his cheeks, I swab my cheeks, I swab our baby cheeks, I package it up in front of him. And um I mail it off like the next day or something like that. The DNA test comes back. It is his baby. Right here, I'm about to put it up. There's the results. So I told him yes, and I'm gonna try to find it. If I don't find it, whatever. So I told him it's his baby. Um, his respond was that I faked the DNA test. For what? I said for what? You not no famous basketball player where somebody need to fake a DNA test with somebody that's not even getting. I don't get no money from you. Why would I fake a DNA test when we have 3 kids together and you don't even pay child support? You don't give me nothing for these kids. Um,
This dude, because I don't even want to call him a man, but I mean, he's a whole mess, like for real. And I will consistently say this just to know that, yeah, that these men, people are out here like this. Like she got to pay you to take a DNA test, but you denying it's your child. That's wild.
why would I fake? What do I have to gain by faking a DNA test for you? It don't make no sense. So, um, yeah. So he's still telling his family like he don't. He said I don't know if that baby mine or not. Well, whatever, whatever. So I talked to his mother one time, and I'm like, and she's like, well, if because at one point when he had like his new girlfriend or whatever, she was harassing me online. She was making all these fake profiles, fake Facebooks. And this is like down the line where we didn't communicate for like 2 years. After I got pregnant, we didn't communicate for 2 years. And I'm telling her, I'm like, why would I wait, hold on, what am I talking about? I lost my train of thought. But anyway, she's making all these fake profiles stuff like that, cause saying, "Oh, you want my man or whatever, you want my man." I'm like, I do not want nothing to do with him because he was abusive to me, and I guess he used to like say things to make her jealous and like throw my name in there to make her jealous or something like that. I don't know what was going on, but my name kept on. This is like 2 years of radio silence. 2 years we didn't have nothing to do with each other. 2 years of not talking to him. Because like I said, Aiden is 2 at the time. So this is like 2018. So Aiden is like 2 years old. And she's harassing us, making fake profiles and stuff like that. And in the fake profile, she requested my grandma, my mom, people in my family, sending them friend requests. And it's a fake page that has my picture on it like it's me, but it says, "Oh, my name is Shayla. I'm such a hoe. I love doing this and doing that," and just all this nasty stuff. And I'm like, this girl crazy, man. I'm like, this girl crazy. She texting my phone, "Why you sending naked pictures to my man?" and this. And I'm like, girl, I don't got 7 kids. I ain't got time for this. Like, I did not like drama like that, especially with girls. I'm like, oh my God. So at this point, I cut him off and his family. I told his family, I'm like, listen, because the kids used to go over there and stuff like that. I gave him a chance. I said, you either go get this girl together and tell her to stop doing this, because she was posting pictures of our kids too online. I'm like, he just kept saying, it's not her, it's not her, that's not her. I'm like, I don't have no beef with nobody. I always been like such like a peaceful type. Like I did not I was not the type of person to have beef with nobody. I'm like, there is literally nobody else that can be doing this for her. And it was her. And it was her. She used to call my mom's phone again and again and again. Whatever. I guess she was crazy about him, man. She was crazy about him. Um, he ended up getting her pregnant. They have a baby together. So I cut things off between her. He told me she was pregnant. I congratulated him and everything. Like, I was willing to work things out to co-parent with each other. I know, stupid, but after the harassment, I said, nah, I don't want no parts of that. So I told his family, I wrote his family a letter saying like, listen, we gonna have to cut things off for a while. I cut visits off from his family and him because I didn't trust her and I didn't trust him.
This leads to that child support conversation. I put a video out about that. Please go check it out. I was responding to what another big content creator said about that child support situation. But yeah, he's able to keep going out here making babies because he wasn't paying child support. So you got 3 with her, then you just go make another one because you're not being held responsible for the first 3. In my opinion.
So I cut visits off. His mother was basically had wrote me a letter saying, "Hey, da da da." Ah, shit. That his mother basically accused me of kind of like being jealous. And I'm like, I'm not jealous. Your son's a monster. Basically like that. I had sent her a letter back saying, I'm not jealous. Your son's a monster. And she's like, well, if Aiden turns out to be his, and I'm telling her if he is his, I sent her I think I sent her no, I did. I sent her the test results. And like me and his family had a lot of like back and forth. We weren't really getting along that well. We get along fine now. You know, his family is fine now, but back then we all didn't really get along that well. I never had problems with his dad though. It was just his mom that we. So it was just his mom that we had problems with at the time. And not really problems, but we just didn't see eye to eye at that time. So, what happened? So again, I cut contact off, and while I cut contact off, I do end up. So I'm not gonna my last kid's father, my or I'm gonna call him Push because that was his name. That was his like street name in the streets. They call him Push. I do not have a real long history with him, so he's not gonna get his own tape because there's not much to talk about. It was like little things that happened between us, but I'ma just his it intertwines. So after me and Jonathan broke up for good, we ended communication. It was a few years of us not talking. I get pregnant. I was sober for a while after I was sober for a while after I had Aiden, my 8th child. Aiden was my 8th child. I was sober for a while. Then I ended up going out for my friend's birthday. Went out for my friend's birthday, and we're drinking, we're partying a little bit too hard. I mean, at one point, it's not even a party no more. I'm just making a bunch of bad decisions. So at one point, let's just say I have alcohol poisoning, and I'm not feeling very good. I'm with my friend at the time, and how do I put this? I'm leaving something out, okay? I get pregnant that night. We only slept together one time. I got pregnant that night. I went home after I finally got back home.
And this is why birth control or contraceptions are so important. Because again, I'm just saying, if she was on birth control, even if it was a one night stand, no pregnancy would have been involved.
I did find out I was pregnant like 2 weeks later. And I was so stressed out just from all the stuff that happened in the past. I'm just like, I can't keep this pregnancy a secret. I will not do that because I'm exhausted. I'm ashamed. I'm tired. I tell my parents immediately that I'm pregnant. They say, who's the father now? And I'm just like, they don't even know him. I say his name or whatever. And So the thing with then I have my eighth. Wait, what eighth? No, seventh. Aiden was my seventh child. I'm sorry, and then Avery was my eighth child. I can't count today. And so I give birth to Avery, and I don't know. He wanted to be in a relationship with me because he did like me, but I'm so broken from my previous relationships, and I do not trust myself. I'm like, I have the worst taste in guys. I don't want to be in another relationship. So instead of feeling like, and I'm older at this point also, I'm 30 years old now at this point. I'm like 29 or 30. And this is my 6-year old. So this is 6 years ago. Um, I'm 29 or 30. Lord, I'm about 30. And I'm just like, I don't trust myself. I have the worst taste in men, and I do tell him I don't want to be in a relationship with him. He's sad about it because he said he wanted to, even though we didn't have, I don't know, whatever. He had addiction issues worse than me, and I couldn't like if he didn't have addiction issues, he was such a nice guy, man. Like if he didn't have addiction issues worse than me, he had like drug addiction issues. Like if he didn't have those issues, I could have seen myself trying to see where things could be or went, but I was trying to clean myself up and I wanted to get sober. And I knew I could not do that with another addict.
And I'm glad she was wise enough to know that, because we know that's not the deal with a lot of people. They trauma bond, right? And wind up being back in situations that they shouldn't have been into because they were trauma bonding. So that part was a wise decision, in my opinion.
I decide to cut communication with him because he had really, really bad addiction issues. And even though I did too, his was worse than mine. And he ended up dying. He ended up overdosing. Or no. Let me actually take that back. I don't know if he overdosed. I'm assuming that he overdosed. But he did die a few years later. 6 years later. He just passed away a few months ago.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, man. The last time I talked to my daughter.
So that child won't ever know their father. Born out of a one night stand and won't have the father around. That's sad.
Her father. I'm gonna try to put it up if I can find an email up here. If not, then I guess I just couldn't find it. But the last thing he said to me was basically like, I don't know. He was upset because I wouldn't let him come over, but he was trying to come over when I was pregnant again, and my other baby father was living back in our house, and that's when he was trying to come over, and I'm just like, nah. And he got mad about that because he wasn't really trying to come over to see our daughter. He said he was trying to come. He was gonna bring some alcohol to my house, and I told him nah, because I said I'm sober. I don't drink or whatever. But I don't know. So that just was a crazy situation. After I had my daughter, I got 8 kids at this point. Then I moved into this house that I'm living at now. So now I'm like 30 years old. I moved here. We're only living here about maybe a few months. And mind you, I didn't talk to him for a few years. We moved to this house and he randomly calls me and I'm like, oh hey. So it's years later, so he does a lot of apologizing and tells me like he's a changed person and I just want to be in my kid's life. I know what I put you through was messed up. What you put me through was messed up. What we put each other through was messed up. We talked every day on the phone for like a week. And we kind of like fell for each other again, you know? Um, so in my mind, I'm thinking, well, maybe this time will be different. I don't know. But I did think that now that he's older, maybe he's changed. So we moved here in 2020, in January 2020. He was out there.
You heard it. She back with him. Just when you think that she's wise enough, which she was, as far as the last guy goes, but here we go.
The state at work because he was like working out of the state, but he came back to Jersey June 2020. In June 2020, it was like around my birthday, and I was sober for a long time. I was sober for 2.5 years when I moved here. I started drinking again the day I seen him. I wasn't really trying to be sober though. Like I wasn't like the way I'm sober now. I just happened to be. I just wasn't drinking, and I started drinking because I was nervous to see him, so I had to drink. When it was my birthday, I was turning 31. So I just had turned 31, and I started drinking again. And mind you, like I said, this is 6 years ago. I had just moved here. All right, so after he moved back with us, so like I never told him he could move in this house. Basically, what happened was, so he was working a job, like out the state. Like they would have them in living in hotels, and it was like a utility company or something like that. And so, but when they weren't living in the hotels, they would all get a break a week or two to go home to their families. So every time he got a chance to go home to their families, he would stay with us for like 2 weeks while he was got his like go home break, and then he would go back to work, and that was like that for like a year. So in 2022, or maybe like the end of 2021, I ended up getting pregnant, and we had another baby. This 3 years ago, because our baby is 3 now. So we have another baby. And I don't know, like, okay, so the way this situation, the way he acted in this house is totally different. Like, he wasn't that okay, when I say he wasn't that abusive, what I mean is, like, he didn't beat me every day abusive, but he was, like, he would talk to me crazy still. He was still abusive. He was still verbally abusive. He was still intimidating. He was still, like, get angry and stuff like that. Like, that part didn't change. He was a little bit more mature from when he was younger, and he, for the most part, if he did hit me, he didn't hit me in my face no more. Like, I guess he like learned not to hit me in my face because that's when he would go to jail, when he was sort of stuck, you know what I mean? So like a while ago, I remember the change, and when he stopped hitting me in my face after he went to jail, he would start giving me body shots, and that's like when you like punching somebody in their body. So I would be all bruised up in my body and stuff like that, but I wouldn't have nothing on my face, and that was that was what he used to do to so because he didn't want to go to jail no more. But so yeah, so like living here, he wasn't abusive like he was at the first 2 houses that we was living at, the first 2 apartments. But like I said, everything else was just like still like crazy. And
he wasn't as abusive. Wow. Mm-mm. And I wonder if he just called her back because he had nowhere to go. Yeah, he was working and traveling and working, but when he was off, he didn't have nowhere else to go. That's probably why he actually called her.
um he did mess me up one time. I'm gonna put a picture up right here. Or you know what, actually, let me know. I have it. And like I stopped going out though. Like at this, I used to go out in my 20s. Once I turned 30, I stopped going out. When he had moved out at one point, or where he used to go on vacation, sometimes I used to have my girlfriend over and some friends, like during the pandemic when everything was shut down. But as far as like going out, I stopped doing that when I turned 30. But Yeah, he had we had got into, I don't know, I guess I had drank too much and I was being real annoying. It was nighttime, I was trying to wake him up, and this is what he does in my face. It's like a hole in my lip from, I don't know how he split my lip like that. I don't remember this happening. He told me about it the next day because he was crying and he was like, he felt bad about it. And which, yeah, so this situation was crazy. Because like I said, okay, so I remember being like, the kids was at my mom's house again. No, I'm lying. The kids was home, but everybody was in their room. Everybody was asleep. So I think some of the kids at my mom's house, some of the kids was home. And I was in the room drinking and listening to music. I guess I drank too much. It's the middle of the night, probably like 3 o'clock in the morning. And at some point, I don't, this part I don't remember. The last thing I remember is I remember drinking and listening to music, and that's what I used to just like to do. I just used to drink and listen to music, and it was just a way for me to kind of like escape reality, is drink. And I love music, and or I love watching comedy specials, and I could just hang out by myself for hours and have drinks, and it was just fun to me. That's what I did for fun. So I'm drinking, I'm listening to music, and it's the middle of the night, and then the next thing I remember, I'm in the shower and I got clothes on in the shower, and it was blood running down everywhere, and I'm like, I don't know what happened. Maybe I lost consciousness, I don't know. But no, I think he did say, like, when he punched me, I think he did say, like, I fell down and wouldn't wake up at first, and then he gets me in the shower, but my shit won't stop leaking. So we had no choice but to call an ambulance so I can go get stitches, because my shit was not stop. It would not stop leaking. I was bleeding. I needed stitches. So, yeah, like I went to the hospital. They asked me how it happened. I told them and I believe this. He told me I was so drunk that I slipped and fell and hit my lip on the corner of the table. And that's what I told him, because that's what he told me, and I believe that happened. He said I slipped and fell. So they stitched me up. This is how I look like a few days after I had my stitches. This is when I still had the stitches in. They stitched me up, came home, and yeah, like I remember I had these paintings sitting over here. They were like remember the black and red paintings I used to have in my videos before I did like the pink theme? There was one of these paintings that had like a blood splatter on it. Like, I guess like when he hit me, the blood, I don't know, my shit splattered all over. It was all over the wall. He said it was blood all over the floor. He cleaned up all the blood before. What I'm about to say? Oh my God, my stomach, I'm so hungry. I'm trying to finish this story up so I can eat. But I gotta finish it. I gotta finish this, because I want to start doing more like this. I don't want to do like real sad content and stuff like that, but I did think it was important. I really did want to tell my story. Like, for the longest time, I wanted to write a book, but I'm just like, the way my attention span is, it's really hard for me to concentrate. My kids are too quiet. I gotta check on them. All right, now they're fine, because they shut the camera off. The camera, they always do that too. Every time I got the camera going, they shut it off. They close it. But okay. So damn, I forgot what I was talking about. All right, it's starting to get late now. It's 2 o'clock. I told myself I was going to do this YouTube video, post it, and then clean my whole house and do all this stuff. And now that it's getting so late, and I've been trying to film this video for literally hours, I'm no longer cleaning today. I will do that tomorrow. Like, I'm about to by the time I post this video, I'm gonna promote it real quick, and then I'm gonna eat and go to bed. And it's only 3 o'clock right now, but by the time I'm done with all of this and my food get here, I don't know, I'll clean up tomorrow. So, you know what's crazy? Like, when we, like, ever since 2015, me and him have not gotten back together. Like, even when he was living with us and stuff like that, we weren't back together. We weren't in a relationship. He did not, and that was really mostly his choice. He decided he did not want to call it a relationship anymore. He did not want to get back together, even though we was living together, and we had 2 more kids together. But he like made it like it was my fault. Like, well, you could have had a husband by now, like meaning him, if you would just act right. But you don't act right. So I'm like, okay, man. Honestly, he like, even though we've had our good times, he been treating me real messed up for over a decade. And yeah, man, I just was too blind to really like see things for what they were, you know. Like, love is blind is a real thing. It's a real thing. I was real stupid. But you know, it is what it is. I can't change the past. I can't change things that happened. When people like to throw in my face, like, well, like, a lot of people say what I went through was my fault. And well, not a lot of people, a small percentage of people. And I can't, you know what I mean? I can't change what happened. I can't change how long I went through what I went through. I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful, you know what I mean? Where was I though? So I still have the scar on my lip right here. I was crying not just because it hurt, but I was also crying because I thought I was gonna have a nasty. All right, now I done ate. I put my kids for a nap because I am going to finish this story. It is now 4:30, and I've been at trying to get this story done and filming this since this morning, since I first woke up. But yeah, and I'm gonna put this all in one video too. So okay, so we after the situation happened with this, and he like did that to my lip and stuff like that. I did forgive him. I wasn't. It's hard to be mad at somebody and when you're disappointed and mad at yourself. And I was disappointed and mad at myself. And honestly, I don't want to say I hated myself at the time, but I didn't like that I had fell so deep into my alcoholism again. I was drinking so much. I was drinking all the time. And I just really didn't like that about myself. So I decided to get sober. And I'm like, so any other time I gotten sober in the past, I always said to myself, like, yeah, I guess I'm sober for now, but I always said I'm not promising that I'm gonna, because I always planned to drink again, you know what I mean? It was never, oh, I want to be sober and I want to stay sober. A lot of times it was, you know, I'm sober for now, but, you know, I will drink again in the future. And I used to have like little, like when I moved here, my, when I moved to this house in 2020, I had rules. And like, that's how it's like, you try to like, I was trying to control my alcoholism, and my rule was I didn't drink during the school year from September until June. I did not drink. I only drank in the summertime and maybe on the holidays when kids were on break. Why? Because I'm not a functional alcoholic and I don't function very well. I'll oversleep. I drank during the day, and I smell like alcohol, and it just, so I had that rule that I did not drink from September to until June. So when the kids got to school, I let that be my time to relax and have drinks and you know, whatever. So Lord, and drinking when you're young and then drinking and then trying to be an alcoholic, or not trying to be an alcoholic, or falling back into alcoholism when you're older is like so different. Like literally I could not stop having I couldn't drink 2 days in a row without getting alcohol poisoning. I kept getting alcohol poisoning because like it's like my liver was not filtering out the alcohol as fast as it used to when I was younger. So that's one thing I kept dealing with when I moved here, is I just kept getting alcohol poisoning. I could not drink 2 days. I could not heavily drink 2 days in a row. I couldn't do it. I would be throwing up and it would be feeling like I had a stomach virus or something like that. I'd be throwing up for like 12 hours, just vomiting. And my stomach would be hurting. Like, but I've never had to get my stomach pumped or nothing like that. And I've never like been hospitalized for drinking. So I'm still drinking. Okay, but okay, so that was my rule until he moved in. once he moved in, like full time moved in, he moved in after we had a baby. Right after we had our ninth, right after I had my ninth kid and his fourth kid, he moved in. He said he moved. He claimed he moved in to help me with the baby. Like the dad came home from the hospital. He was with me the whole time in the hospital, and then we went home to when we came home together, and he moved back in. Didn't have no conversation about him moving back in because I had kicked him out the year before. The year prior to that, I had kicked him out like during my pregnancy because we was not getting along. He was doing dumb stuff that I don't even want to get into that. But um, so okay, so okay, so once he moved in after we had a baby, like again, my alcoholism took a turn. So I did start drinking again. I didn't breastfeed very long because I started drinking right after I had my baby. And I drank during the summertime. Normally I stopped drinking. My kids start school in Jersey. We start school in September. Okay, so normally I stopped drinking towards the end of August. Not in my and I stopped drinking around that time because it's really hard for me to. Because if I drink during the school year, I'll do things like show up to parent teacher meetings, not drunk but like a little bit, like, and I know myself. That's why I had these little rules. Um, okay, but when he moved in, because he was drinking every day, and he's a different type of alcoholic. He is dependent on alcohol. He like if he don't drink, he drink every day. And if he don't drink like for like a whole day or even like a couple hours, he gets a shaking. So he had to drink to not go through withdrawal. He would go through withdrawal. I didn't even know he was that bad at his alcoholism.
She had that strict plan. I mean, the strict guidelines, and like she stated about drinking and when and all that. Now I know, she love her kids and the kids are here. Got it, get it, okay. But I wish she would have had just as much willpower to get on some type of birth control. Because yeah, she did love her kids as she states and all of that, but having kids by men like these is, it will affect the kids. So yeah, it's just my thoughts.
Because we remember I told you we had before he moved in, before we got back in touch with each other in 2020. I didn't see him really like that for like 2 years, so I didn't know he was like dependent on alcohol like that. I just know he drank every day. um but yeah, so if he don't drink, he gets sick. It feel like the flu, he said. um so but yeah, so September comes around and I'm still drinking, and I'm like, whoa, I shouldn't be drinking. Like that's my rule. That's my number one rule, is not to drink during the school year. But I'm like, all right, well next week is gonna be like my last week for real, and I'm still drinking. The week after that, I'm still drinking. Why? Because you can't have two alcoholics in the house, and he's bringing in beer and stuff like that after work, and I'm just like it's in the fridge. You know what I mean? So I uh I kept drinking, and I drank during the school year, and I did what I said I wouldn't do no more, is drink during the school year. I broke my own rules, and after that I started becoming also dependent on alcohol. I didn't get the shakes or nothing like that, but I went through withdrawal if I tried to stop drinking for more than 5 days. For me, I could go like 5 days without drinking. So I go like 5 days without drinking. I was drinking mostly on the weekends, but like I'm like, dang, like I'm drinking how I was drinking in my 20s. That's crazy. Like I can't be drinking like this. Like I'm too old to be drinking like this. Like that, when you get older, you realize like it's unhealthy, and you messing up your kidneys and your liver and your body and your all that. So, and I know this, and I'm older now, so stuff like that is really important to me. And I've been trying to manage my alcoholism and limit myself. But yeah, when he moved back in, I just couldn't, like, full time. I just could not. It was really hard for me to. And I'm not blaming him. I'm a grown adult. It's my fault. I should have, dealt with it. Um, I I was just not being a very good mother at the time because I was drinking too much. And um, yeah, so we February. So that was in September, and then when February came, February 2nd, that night, I was on a FaceTime with my girlfriend from high school and with my friends since high school and a few friends. Asia, my friend, I think I was talking to Miles, and these are everybody real names. The only names I'm changing is names of people that like my kids' fathers, just because I'm sure they would not want me talking about this. And I don't know. I changed their name for like legal reasons so they can't like come after me in like court or anything like that. I don't think they would, but just like, you know. But yeah, so I'm talking to a few of my friends and I told them, I think I was what did I tell them? Cause like I don't know, like I wasn't planning on going to rehab or nothing like that. I just said like in my mind, no, this is not February 3rd. This is end of January. Um 2023. This is the beginning of 2023. And I'm just like, I can't do this no more, y'all. And they like, what you mean? I'm like, I I'm about to get sober, yo. I can't do this no more. I gotta get back to the person I know I am, the mother that I know I could be. I said I can't do this. I'm going to rehab. Um, I think that's when I either told them to hold on or whatever. I look terrible too. I'm all on a FaceTime. The most embarrassing thing I used to do, like living here, is drinking. I used to FaceTime people looking a mess, like looking a whole mess, like my hair not done. I'm slurring my like looking a mess 3 o'clock in the morning because I always drink at nighttime when the kids went to bed. But then the next day I'll be so hungover and so like I can't because I'm drinking until 3 o'clock in the morning. Um, so but anyway, I'm just like, I gotta get sober. I can't do this. So I call the hotline and tell them I want to get sober. I tell them I need inpatient treatment. I was always against doing inpatient treatment because I never wanted to miss time with my kids, and I always said I didn't want to do that because I don't want to leave my kids. But then I realized I have to do this for my kids, or my kids ain't gonna have a mother in a minute. You know what I mean? Like either I'ma die either I'm gonna die, I'm gonna get locked up, or I'm gonna lose my kids to diapers. I'm like, that's the end result to addiction, period.
And this is why I give her some respect, because she is thinking about her kids, right? And she's putting all the options of what could possibly happen to make a change. Whereas, again, in this sector, we don't see that with mothers. They keep going on with the toxicity, the dysfunction, putting the men first, putting themselves first, all of that. Okay. So, no, I don't agree with some of the things, but that's neither here nor there. I respect her for coming to the conclusion of, I brought these kids here. I need to put them first.
So I knew I had to get sober. And like I said, I wasn't planning on it, you know. But I'm like, I gotta do this for my kids. I gotta do it for myself. My kids deserve a sober mother. Um, so I called the hotline. I told them I want to come in. They said I come in tomorrow. And this was like 2 days before my daughter's birthday. So I said, okay. I spent the whole night drinking and talking to my friends and telling them what I plan to do. They all was so encouraging. Proud of you, Shayla. Um, Especially Asia. Um, I love me some Asia. I love her. She be under my post on Instagram. Like, I haven't seen her in some years too, but oh, why is this on? So the next day, February 3rd, 2023, my oldest daughter, her 17th birthday was the next day, February 4th. And I was sad. I was so sad that I had to miss her birthday. But I'm just like, I'm so sorry for having to miss your birthday, baby. But the best thing you can have for your birthday is a sober mom. I can't wait another day because I might change my mind. So I got sober. It was a 30-day. They wanted me to stay for 30 days, but I stayed for 5 days. I just did the detox. I did therapy for those 5 days. I did a detox. They gave me medication, and that's what I did. They said that I should stay because it's a higher chance of me relapsing if I try to go home early. But I told them I didn't want to stay. I didn't want to stay. I wanted to get home to my kids. And I knew it was my mission to not drink no more. Now, I recommend, for anybody else now, I recommend if they ask you to stay, just stay for the 30 days. You know, I just had a lot of anxiety. And I just wanted to go home. So I go home and now I'm sober. But this time is different. Because this time, I want to be sober forever. I don't ever want to drink again. I don't ever want to pick up a drink again. It's the first time I've ever felt like that. Because I never felt like I had a love for alcohol because it helped me deal with my anxiety at the time. But it didn't even help me. It's just, it's a cover up. You're not really dealing with nothing. You're not really dealing with nothing when you drinking and covering up your anxiety and covering up depression or covering up forever feeling uncomfortable. Nightmares. So, got sober. I made a few connections when I was there with other people that was there. I listened to other people's stories. Oh my God, this one guy, he was like my dad age, and the way he was so hard on himself. He was so hard on himself, and everything he was saying was like things that I think about myself too. And he was talking, I'm just like, oh boy, like I can't stop crying in that place. Every time we had group therapy, I'm crying. Even now, I'm just thinking about I'm crying because I'm just like, when you get sober, you start thinking about everything you did and the things that the people that you hurt and your family that you hurt, because all those memories come back to you, and then you just dealing with guilt. And honestly, that's like the kind of the cycle that I used to go through before. It would be like I would get sober and then I would think about, oh man, you did this, oh you did that, and I would start feeling guilty, and then I would drink again to just numb that guilt so I ain't gotta feel guilty no more. Yo, y'all ever seen Vampire Diaries? Like that's why I love vampire shows, is because like vampirism, I know this sound crazy, but for me, like vampire shows or anything like has to do with vampires remind me so much of addiction and people that deal with addiction issues. You ever see Vampire Diaries, how they had like turning the switch off? I feel like turning your switch off is like, that's like alcoholism when you're drinking. And I know I sound like a nerd right now if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you've never seen that show. But, and then, you know, when they flip the switch back on and they get back to reality, that's like a metaphor for when you get sober and you finally get sober, you wake up and you sober, and then you thinking of all the stuff that you did when you was drunk or when you was this or that, or say if you do drugs or whatever drug of choice or that, and then you go through the guilt, all the feelings and everything that you've been pushing down just come rushing back. Like I know that sounds crazy, but like that's why I love those shows, because like that whole like series and the whole Vampire Diaries universe, that's why I love that, because it reminds me of alcoholism and the struggles that we go through. But anyway, hold on. So the whole time I'm in rehab, my kids are all at my mom's house. They don't stay home with my kid's father. I send them over there because he has to work. He in rehab. He's calling me, checking up on me. He said he's gonna. I had cats at the time, 2 cats, and I don't know. He wasn't doing a very good job taking care of my cats, and he was like, I don't know. I was gone for 5 days, and when I left, the house was like a mess. And I'm thinking like, okay, I'm in there for 5 days. He's there, and there's no kids there. The whole time he's there, a whole week by himself, and he didn't even clean the house or nothing like that. So when I came home, the kids were still in my mom's house. I came home to a nasty house. The house was dirty. As I come home, right before I left, I passed out and I had to go to the hospital. I don't know exactly. Like my blood pressure had a hard time mellowing out after I got sober, and that lasted for like 6 months too. I just used to pass out of nowhere for no reason. Like my blood pressure used to spike. So, but anyway, so when I came home, the night I came home, the house was so dirty, and I'm like, my mom said she was going to hold on to the kids until I got the house together. So I'm like, all right, give me 1 day. I'm gonna get the house right. Newly sober. He's not sober still because, he's just still drinking. And, but I'm sober, and I don't know, we did miss each other. So I come home and, whatever. I'm heavily addicted to cigarettes though at this point, because in rehab, that's like the one thing we did. It was like coffee and cigarettes. And there's one thing you look forward to is cigarettes was a big thing. I was already smoking cigarettes before then, but after getting sober in rehab, I was way more addicted to cigarettes. I smoked way more, And before that, I did not smoke and drink. Like I only smoked cigarettes when I drank, and then that's it. And like maybe a day after, and that's it. But now I was just smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee. So, and I would go hand in hand, coffee and cigarettes. But anyway, so I got home. We happy to see each other. He gave me a big old hug. I miss you, blah blah. And we have sex the day I come home, because we're happy and we're in a good mood. And I think it's nighttime. Yeah, it was nighttime, or maybe it was just, I don't know. Because it was around my sober anniversary is coming up next month, so it got dark quick, so it could have been whatever, but it was dark. And so we had sex that day because the kids wasn't home, and then we didn't do nothing. Like I didn't have sex with him again for like a month, because we got kids, we just can't do that often or whatever. But I got pregnant that night. First of all, what's so weird is like, I don't even like sex like that. And I know that's weird because I have 10 kids. What do you mean? But I don't. That's not something I've ever really enjoyed sober. And I don't even like, if I tried to do that sober, I don't think I could, because I don't never really have. So being sober, I don't do that. I would consider my sex. I will consider. I almost consider myself asexual because I don't have sexual desire. Maybe it's just because I be in mom mode all day, and I don't know, but I don't have that type of desire. Like I don't know. I don't know. But or maybe it's something else psychological that why I can't. Obviously I have kids, so there's when you're a single woman with kids, you can't really have a sex life anyway. Well, some people can. I can't because I have too many kids. But even if I didn't have a bunch of kids, or if all my
Oh yeah, yeah. Clean that one up, honey, because a lot of single women do have a sex life because they put themselves and their sex life before their kids. So them having multiple kids means nothing to them. Now I'm not saying, a single woman with kids can't have a sex life. They can. Okay. But everything has to be done. I don't want to say moderation, but no, if you're putting all of that and before your kids and your kids' life is suffering, then that's the problem. Okay, that's how I feel about that. Um, yeah, yeah, and especially when you don't want to go get a job, you don't want to do none of those things, but you got time to sit up and keep having sex. Nah.
Kids were grown, I still don't think I would have that desire to have sex with anybody. So, and I know that sounds so weird coming from a mother with 10 kids, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I did still continue to sleep with him that year, but it felt like a chore, like I'm doing you a like doing him a favor. Like that's kind of how I looked at it. I didn't look at it like any other way, but a chore, an extra chore. So I got pregnant in baby number 10. This is our fifth child together. And so after I got sober, it felt like, and I know a lot of people can like, it felt like I had rose colored glasses on and I took them off. I hated being around I hated being around him. We have nothing in common. I don't like him. And I realized this trying to be around him sober. I do not like him. I have nothing in common with him. And yes, this is after 5 kids and 13 years. No, I'm sorry, 12 years. Because this is, no, at this time, this is a couple years ago. So after 5 kids and 10 years, I'm like, I have nothing in common with him. I don't even like him. Excuse me? I don't even like him. I'm like, I don't even like him. Oh my God. Like, what? I got sober and realized I don't even like him. Because remember, when I first met him, we met drinking, you know? And every time I got sober, I let him go, you know? So we got sober. I got sober this time and I'm pregnant. So automatically I'm like, well, now I'm pregnant. So of course I'm going to stay sober being pregnant. So like the first 10 months of my sobriety, 9, 10 months during pregnancy, during my sobriety, I kept feeling like, damn, well, it kept feeling like it didn't count because I was pregnant. And I'm like, well, of course, it's easy for me to stay. So it's always been easy for me to stay sober when I'm pregnant because I'm pregnant. So I feel like it don't count. I'm like, this easy, it don't count. Maybe it was a good thing because it was easier for me to stay sober, but I don't know. So I'm sober the whole time, pregnant, and he is just being a complete jackass the whole time. He's working at this new fancy job, um, whatever, at a law firm with his dad, because his dad is a lawyer, and he's just being so arrogant and so cocky. He's just like, yeah, blah, 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 blah.
His dad is a lawyer. Now I know the boy is grown, but he out here being abusive, not paying child support, making all these babies. Wow.
We're not doing this. Um, I called the police. I told the police I want him gone. And the police said, "Well, he live here." I said, "Yes, but his name not on the lease." They said, "We cannot ask him to leave. He lives here. You gotta go to court to get him out your house." I said, "Are you kidding me?" I knew that because we've been through this before, but I just thought, I don't know, man. I don't know. And they was like, you would have to get a restraining order. I'm like, I know from experience, you need a reason to get a restraining order, and you have to be in fear of your life to get a restraining order. So I've already been denied a restraining order once. So I'm just like, all right, like I'm gonna just give him some time to move out. So, but that night I took the kids to my mom's house and we slept at my mom's house for the night. He had the house for the night. I came back the next day or a couple days later, and every day, every night that night, we didn't talk at all. We didn't talk. When he would get off, I would time and anticipate what time he got off of work because it was just like stepping on eggshells. I was scared. I didn't want to be around him. Like as soon as I knew he was about to come home, I would go upstairs and lock myself in my kids' room. I would even tell them not to go out there neither, and we would just stay in the room and lock ourselves in the room for the night. And I would stay there until the next morning when he left out. He would try to be funny, and he was like drinking heavily at this time, so he was like, I could not be around him. And he was like trying to be funny, talking about texting me, oh, you better run, here come the boogeyman, and I'm home, go run and hide now. Like trying to be funny because he knew I would be hiding upstairs in a room and didn't want to be around him. But I could not do anything about this. The police told me I couldn't. The police told me he lived there and I couldn't. They could not ask him to leave. They could not force him to leave because they don't get in between matters like that unless he was currently abusing me. And even though he did push me, and I did say that, I did say he pushed me and stuff like that, he ripped my necklace off, so they knew that. He go telling the cops, oh, I'm the only one who worked, and this. And I'm like, sitting here like, okay, you working and you're not paying no bills in this house. You don't barely buy your kids nothing. If I need something for the kids, I come up with it myself. Like, make no sense. Like, I take care of the bills. Girl, he wasn't even paying no bills in his house. Only I was. Like, I'm looking back like, girl, I would have slapped the shit out of myself, man. Jesus. But, yeah, so, man, this is so long. All right, let me finish this up. So every time I asked him when he was gonna move, he said he would tell me that he's looking for a place. But it was just attitude after attitude. I think this is day 6 now of me having to go upstairs and hide. He had a machete. His machete was like this big, and what happened? Like, he was just kind of belligerent some nights and would be like accusing me of like having people outside for him. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I mean, we live on a busy street, so people stop in front of our house all the time to look for directions. Oh my God, I remember this one time in this house. I forgot about this. He got mad at me because he was drunk and wanted me to call him an Uber. And then when I'm like, okay, where you at? And he was like, just call the Uber. He was so drunk that he would not give me the address. So because I was like trying to take care of the kids, I hung up on him. This is after 10 minutes of me trying to get the address for him. I had to hang up on him. And then when he got home, he slapped the fuck out of me, man. He smacked the dog shit out of me. And I told the kids go upstairs. I told the kids I told the kids to go upstairs. My eyes fill up with tears. The many kids asleep. He slapped me awake. He slapped the fuck out of me awake. I made the kids go upstairs, and that night he like kind of held me, like made me stand there. I'm sitting here crying. He made me stand there and listen to him. He had a big ass machete in his hand, and I'm standing there, and he won't let me leave. He just made me like lecture me, but like angry, and he was belligerent. And he took his machete and he started chopping my porch. I had like a metal bar, a railing, and he was just chopping the railing, and it was like sparking. That shit, it was like a Uber driver or something like that, or not an Uber driver. It was like a DoorDash driver, and he like, who the F is this? Who the F is this? And just starts chopping it, like talking about I called somebody over there to come fight him or something like that, or I don't know what he was thinking, but he was like belligerent. And then told me he's like, one of these days I'm gonna kill you, yo. One of these days I'm gonna slice you up. It's just gonna happen. Nobody gonna find your body. I'm gonna slice you up in pieces. I'm gonna put you in a bag, and nobody ever gonna find you. And your kids ain't gonna have a mother. Just know one day that's gonna happen. And then he took the machete and he like laid it on top of me and he fell asleep. When I knew he was asleep, I took the machete out of his hand and I hid it from him. That was a side story on the machete and why I don't trust him having a machete. So now we back to where we at right now. And he's belligerent all the time. So I hide his machete and I hide he had another whip, he had another knife. So he had a big ass machete and a knife. I hid both of his weapons because I'm like, you ain't about to be on bad terms with me and have access to a weapon. No. So I hid it when he was at work. And when he came home, he was like, yo, where's my machete? He's texting me. And I'm telling him I'm telling him I would give it back right before he moves. I don't trust him. I don't feel comfortable. And I feel threatened because X, Y, and Z. I just told him what it was. And he was like, he texted me back saying, cool, keep it. I'm getting another one tomorrow and I'll bring another one to the house tomorrow. I took that as an immediate threat. Soon as he went down as soon as he left for work, I called my mom and I said, come pick us up. I'm putting a restraining order on him today. And that's exactly what I did. And I'm like, I'm making the cops make him leave. I went to court. I had to produce all my evidence of everything that happened throughout the years and why this is a history that has repeated itself throughout the years. I had to tell them exactly what happened. I had to give them, this, that, and that on what happened. So they granted me the restraining order, and we came to the house. The police took took the machete out the house. I told them where I hid it. They took the machete. He didn't get arrested or nothing like that. He just had to leave the house because I now had a restraining order on him. And I was outside the house with my sister, watching them escort him out. And his dad came pick him up. And he left with his father. And I didn't talk to him after that for a long time. And so like 3 or 4 months go by. And like I told him, he know I don't mess with him. I ain't talking to him. I'm still letting him have contact with his kids to his dad. Like his dad come pick the kids up, and so that he eats dinner with the kids like once a month or something like that. We do get back in contact eventually. He contacts me. He told me he got fired from his job. His job that he kept on throwing in my face. Oh, I had good job, this, that, and that. And I'm like, that's what his ass get. I'm sorry. I've never been the type of person to be like, aha. But at that moment, I'm like, I don't care. I'm not gonna be the bigger person. Like that is what his ass get. Like, fuck out of here. Like, I don't know. So he got fired because he was working with mostly women, and he was being intimidating towards the women that was working there. Like, just crazy. Like, think they was gonna put up with his foolishness. How hard? You know how hard it is to get fired from a job that your daddy works at? That your daddy is the lawyer at that job, and you got fired from that job? Like, I'm saying, that was crazy. So, my mouth is dry. But, so when he came back into our lives again, I was like baby steps to be in a kid's life. I had no desire. Wait a minute. I'm so confused. I think I mixed something up. Oh, no, I didn't. So he came back into our lives, and he said he was going to get sober. That is the only reason, because he wanted my help to get sober. So he said is this like September when I let him back around? Because he said he wanted to be sober. So, okay. He didn't move back with us, but he came over a few times. I gave him the information. I set the whole thing up for him to go get sober. He said he's going to go to rehab. This is the first time he's trying to get sober, and since I knew him, I never seen him like be sober long term before. Because like I said, whenever he tried to stop drinking, he'd get to shaking. So he was like, well, I don't have no job right now, so I might as well go to rehab while I'm not working, because he did get another job when he had came back. He was working at like a I can't remember, but whatever. He had got fired from that job too. And oh no, the garbage truck. This one he was working with for the garbage company.
I hope you're still here, guys. It's almost over. Almost there.
He was making good money at the garbage company too. But so he goes to rehab. He stays in rehab for 30 days. And then when he gets out of rehab, I do let him come stay with us for a little while. He's not living with us, but he came to stay with us for like a couple days, and then went to his dad's house for a little while, and then he got a new job, um, a better job. He was working at his old job that he worked at from when he had got like a promotion, and he was sober, and he was not abusive. He was still kind of a jerk, and okay, so I forgot to put something in there. So after like a few months after he got out of rehab, that's what it was. A few months after he got out of rehab, he was so cocky about, not only just cocky about his new job that he had got, also, so I was sober at that time. I'm sober a whole year. He's sober like a few months. And he keeps mocking me, talking about, oh, ain't you due for a relapse anyway? Yeah, because all I was trying to do was give him advice on sobriety. Like, it's not easy. And he's all like, oh, well, it's easy for me. And yeah, this is the first time I ever try to be sober, and I'm sober, and I'm gonna stay sober. And I'll be sure to tell the kids, 'cause I know you ain't gonna stay sober. You due for a relapse. And when you start drinking again, I'll be sure to tell the kids you this, that, and that. Like, it was like that. And I'm like, why would you say something like that? And he used to say stuff like towards the end of him living with us. He used to say stuff like that all the time, mocking me, mocking my sobriety, telling me, "Oh, you drinking again? You drinking again? Oh, I found some alcohol bottles outside." Like, I don't know. We did have a problem where somebody was. It's probably my teenagers, my older teenager. His friends used to hang out, and I think one of them used to drink and leave little nip bottles in front of my house, and like the by the trash on the curb. Either that, or I don't know. We live on a really busy street, whatever. But he used to always accuse me of drinking, saying, "Oh, is that your bottles out there? Yeah, that's probably you. You probably drinking again." And he was just so negative in my sobriety. And it's like, why would you try to be so negative with the mother of your children? Like, that shit was just crazy. But I just want to throw that in there. So that was part of the reason why I was just like, little by little, I'm like, I don't like him. He's a crazy person. Maybe I'm crazy too. But he wasn't abusive, and things I did get, like, I seen a side of him I've never seen before. Everything was good. Everything was good, and he is who he is. So, but he wasn't belligerent. He was sober. And from what I know, he's still sober. He's been sober a few years now. But, um, he's been sober from alcohol a few years. But what happened was, the reason why I decided to cut him off, one of the reasons was because he started doing drugs. And he was doing ecstasy. After I found that out, first of all, I'm leaving a really important part to this story out for privacy concerns, for privacy reasons. But yeah, I found out he was doing drugs, and I said, nah, he gotta go. I packed his bags when he was at work, cause he was living here part time. Like, he would live here on the weekends and then be out of state during the week. I packed all of his stuff up, and I've not talked to him since then. This is a year and a half ago. I've not talked to him since then. I already said, whatever soul tie that we had, that trauma bond, that's gone, yo. That's gone. That's gone. I will never talk to that man again. Next time, I don't mean to be morbid, but the next time I will have to see him is at his parents' funeral. I don't mean to be morbid, and hopefully that's not for 30, 40, 50 more years, But that is probably the only other time I would probably have to see him in life. I'm done with him, and he's been trying to reach out to his dad a few times. He wrote me a letter. And he reached out a few times. He wanted to buy Christmas gifts for the kids. I personally have not talked to him at all. And that's it. That is it. This is gonna be like 3 hours long. Oh my God.
It went by really quickly, guys. Sorry, but she did include pictures of herself and her family there towards the end. Hold on. Let's see.
I've never seen before. Everything was good. Everything was good, and he is who he is.
I was trying to catch them, guys. I may not be able to because I don't know the exact timestamp, and it's already long.
I'm leaving a really important part to this story out for privacy reasons. But yeah, I found out he was doing drugs, and I said, nah, he gotta go. I packed his bags when he was at work. Cause he was living here part time. Like he would live here on the weekends and then be out of state during the week. I packed all of his stuff up. Um, is at his parents' funeral. I don't mean to be morbid, and hopefully that's not for 30, 40, 50 more years, But that is probably the only other time I would probably have to see him in life. I I'm done with him, and he's been trying to reach out to his dad a few times. He wrote me a letter. He reached out a few times. He wanted to buy Christmas gifts for the kids. I personally have not talked to him at all. And that's it. That is it. This is gonna be like 3 hours long. Oh my God.
So yeah, here we go. Here's some pictures of her when she was pregnant. Beautiful children. They are some cute kids. And there are the kids. Now she did a Q&A after this, so we'll look at that another time, of course, and get a little bit more information. You made it this far. Thanks for watching. Please get down in that comment box. Subscribe, like, share, subscribe if you have not done so. If you have, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, comment, hype, share the video, do all the things. And please stay in peace. And I will see you in the next one.